Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Charlton Chronicles for a very special episode tonight. We're very excited to obviously say we have Michael Morrison joining us very shortly. But as you can see for now, we are joined by Paul, Tom, Steve and Sid. We are awaiting Tyler. He should be joining us, but he's never on time, but we'll talk about that another time. Paul, I'll start with you. You've had a bit of a nightmare day. And a bit of a nightmare journey getting home. So how are you?
Yeah, thanks, Emma. Great to be on. I nearly wasn't, despite South Eastern Train's best efforts. I nearly came from a car park somewhere in the Greenwich area, but I made it home. So yeah, really buzzing for our special guest.
Yeah, and Tyler, welcome. I said you're normally late, but you normally bang on 8 o'clock, but you was like 8:01. I was like naughty. So I'll come to you next. How are you?
Yeah, I was also not here, lost trying to sort out housework. Yeah, completely apologise for that. But yeah, should be a good one, this one. Looking forward to it. Very, very special one, as we all know. And yeah, looking forward to spending it all with you guys again.
Good. And Sid and Steve, how are you both? Obviously, Sid, this is going to be a different experience for you because you obviously wouldn't remember Morrow playing, but I'm sure you've got lots of questions to ask. So how excited are you? And being that he's a centre-back as well, so you must be excited for tonight.
Yeah, I've got some questions for him here, and I'm quite excited to hear what he's got to say about playing for Charlton and his different clubs.
Yeah, and Steve, what about you? You excited? How are you?
Yeah, very much so. Very well at this end, thanks, Emma. Yeah, it's going to be good to pose a few questions to Michael tonight. He did great for us at our club. Reliable centre half, good player, gave his all for the club. Yeah, it'll be nice to acknowledge what he did for us and maybe hear a few tales as well.
Yeah, wicked. And Tom, last but not least, how are we?
I'm good. Obviously, went to watch Kahim last night. Absolutely shone the park. It was unbelievable, put it that way. It was happy to see a Charlton fan there after the game as well. But yeah, other than that, very, very happy. Obviously, Morrow is coming on. One of my favourite centre-backs that we had in that time as well. So yeah, very, very excited.
We will be joined by Morrow in about 10 minutes. So we will say good evening to a few people in the chat. Jack is in there first. Good evening. Good evening to Tracy. She said, I hope we're all looking forward to Saturday. We certainly are. I'm sure we will talk. We will be talking about Leicester. We're going to have a bit of an extended show tonight because obviously we want to get as much out of Morrow as we can. So we will be a little bit later tonight. Good evening to Ian and James. We're very well, thank you. Good evening to Zara. She said, again, she can't wait for the game on Saturday. Good evening to Tom. Good evening to Alan. Good evening to Kimmy, who's just said good evening to me, but I'm sure they meant good evening to everyone else as well. Good evening to Glenny Boy, says evening Emma and gang up the addicts. Good evening to Sam. Good evening to Chris. Good evening to Ely, who said we're going to smash them 4-0 on Saturday. Good evening to Mark. Good evening to Aero Stamp, who said, "Way, finally caught the pod live. We're on 8 o'clock every Wednesday and Sunday, mate. You can't miss us." And finally, good evening all from them as well. So as I've said, obviously we're going to be talking to Michael Morrison. If you guys have any questions, make sure you pop them in the chat, and I will try to ask Morrow as many of them as I can possibly fit in. Please. I will ask, though, you guys are respectful that he is still playing professionally for Cambridge. So, please obviously try to just steer away from any questions relating to his current playing situation if we can, just out of respect for him and his club. So we've got a little bit of an announcement. Tom doesn't know I'm going to do this to him, but Tom has set something up for us today. So, Tom, do you want to tell us a bit more about it?
Yes, I mentioned it on my vlog on Saturday that this week I'll be setting up a Charlton Chronicles TikTok. I did that this afternoon, so that has been set up. There'll be clips from streams, there'll be some interviews from fans before and after games, maybe some from my vlog as well, who knows. But yeah, I'll try and keep you updated as much as I can on that side of things, because I feel like TikTok's more of the audience, if that makes sense as well. So I think that'll help it grow as well a lot. So yeah, make sure you do go and follow it. It's just with the Charlton Chronicles, you can't miss it. It's got the same logo and everything. So yeah.
So go and follow us on TikTok, guys. Tom is managing that account for us. So we'll be uploading lots of good stuff on there. And as usual, if you are down at the Valley for the home games, even away games, you'll probably find me and Tom walking around with a microphone in hand. If you run away, I will find you. No, I'm joking. We will be interviewing some of you guys. So come say hello to us. Let's get you on the TikTok and let's get you following the Chronicles. Also, we have our Facebook account, the Charlton Chronicles. We also have our Instagram, the Charlton Chronicles, and we are also on X as well. So you can't miss us. So give us a follow, guys, and let's get this pod rocking this year. So we have got a little bit of time. So I think what I'm going to do is we'll quickly do a little bit of Leicester predictions before Morrow joins us. So I'll ask any of you firstly if you've got any changes to the lineup that you would make on Saturday.
Yes, I do.
Tom has. Anyone else?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, Paul?
Not sure.
Tyler, you're very dark, by the way.
There's be black curtains next to me. I don't know. I don't know if I'd make any changes, to be honest. I get on the same boat as Paul.
Tom, I'll come to you then. What changes would you make?
Purely because of confidence and because of the game, I would start Lieber because they've got Vestergaard, and I feel like TC and Kalman probably won't be able to put up with that battle, if that makes sense. And obviously Vestergaard is bloody ginormous as well. They've got some very, very tall players at the back, and I just feel like Lieber can bring that kind of height as well. And I mean, anytime he's come on off the bench, he's made an impact so far. Am I debating TC and Tanto? Yes, but I think TC and Lieber will start because obviously TC will run in behind at the pace. So yeah, I think my only change will be Lieber.
Yeah, right. I'm going to stop you there because a legend has just entered the room. So we are about to welcome 2011-2012 League One title winner, vice captain, legend, Mr. Michael Morrison.
Hello guys, how you doing?
Hello, how are you?
That seems a long time ago now, didn't it?
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
no problem. It's nice to be here. Nice to see you all.
I'll just introduce you to everyone in the room. So at the top, well, obviously you know me because you've been speaking to me, but so we've got Paul, Sydney and Steve, Tyler and Tom. So as I say, welcome to the Charlton Chronicles. I'm absolutely buzzing to have you here. Like 2011-2012 was probably one of my favourite ever seasons at Charlton. So I know you very well as a player. I know Tyler is really excited to have you here as well because you were one of his favourite players when he was growing up. Does it make you feel old?
Yeah, it does when you say one of my favourite players growing up. I think
So, Morrow, I want to start by asking you really about your career, and obviously we'll come on to sort of the Charlton side of it, but obviously you've had a lot of success throughout your career. You've been with quite a few teams. So I just want to ask you really how you kind of got into football and what made you want to become a professional footballer.
Well, I've only had a load of teams because I've played for so long. It's not because I keep moving every few years. To be fair, my brothers were into it. My dad was into it. I started playing when I was a kid because my brother played. He was a goalkeeper, so that worked out for me to be able to take loads of shots against him. He was a couple of years older than me, and then I just got caught in the system, really. I played for Peterborough, and that shut down when I was 14 and ended up signing for Cambridge United. I was lucky enough we had some unbelievable coaches at Cambridge at the time. Dan Ashworth, who is the head of the English FA now, he actually gave me my scholarship at Cambridge. So I was able to, work with some phenomenal people there. Luke Hobbs now works at Arsenal. He was one of my coaches throughout that time. And then I broke into the Cambridge team pretty young at 17 after they got relegated into the National League.
Yeah, and obviously you then, I know you was with Cambridge till 2008. You made 108 appearances. You can tell I've been on Wikipedia, right? and then you went to Leicester, and you made 77 appearances there. And obviously you won League One with Leicester, and you got promoted to the Championship with Leicester. So I'm just wondering about your time with Leicester. What players did you play with there, and kind of what was the vibe like at Leicester?
Yeah, it was pretty similar to Charlton at the time when I went to Charlton, where they'd been relegated, big club, obviously, Premier League history, Championship history, and they'd been relegated into League One. And at the time, I was a little bit naive, only young. I remember the first pre-season game, we played a local side and we're drawing, and all the fans were booing, and I think it was just a pre-season game, but then you start to realise how big the football club is and the expectation of it is. And they ended up signing some great players. And, I was at the very, very beginning of that story where they ended up into the Premier League. But that's where I met Chris Powell. That is inadvertently how I ended up being at Charlton. I played with Chris. He was a coach, and then he was my manager. So for the first 6 or 7 years as a professional footballer, every time I played on match day, Chris was there.
Yeah, we're obviously move on to Charlton, and I know these guys have probably got a few questions for you. So before these guys go into it, obviously you signed for us in 2011-12 season. Now, I went to the player to manager event at the Valley with Jacko, Bose and Curbs a little while ago, and there was a little story of that season. I believe you went on a pre-season trip to Spain.
Yeah, Lepe it was. There was a famous Lepe 8. I don't know if you've heard that story before or not.
Well, Jacko told us a little story about obviously he'd been appointed captain, and I know you were vice captain that season. And you went to a beach club, and you was only meant to have a couple of beers, and Jacko basically got you all drunk.
Yeah, there was a Lepe 8, so there was about 8 of them, and at the time, I remember Bradley Wright Phillips was involved in that, so another big player, I think Rob Elliott maybe, and there was a couple of others. I was actually playing golf, so when Jacko says everyone, it weren't quite everyone, but it was enough people, so we ended up getting punished for that. So we were running in the evening because we weren't supposed to have that many beers, and it kind of got everybody together. I think at the time Chris was in a difficult situation because he weren't sure how far to go with punishing us, because obviously he had your captain there and one of your top goal scorers at the time. But yeah, that was a good start to a good bit of team bonding and a team spirit that I still speak to loads of them lads now. So yeah, it was worth the beers for them.
Yeah. What a team! I mean, when I kind of look back, I think of players like Danny Hollands was a massive favourite for me. Dale Stevens, what a team we had there, So I'm going to come to some of these guys, and I'm actually going to come to young Sid first. Now, Sid wouldn't have watched you play, obviously, but Sid is a centre back, so I'm hoping you can pass some advice on to young Sydney here. So, Sid, I'm sure you've got some great questions for Morrow.
Yeah, I've got 2 questions. So, the first one is, how did it feel to win the League One title in the 2011 to 2012 season?
Well, that was amazing because it was a really high scoring point system that year. I think Sheffield Wednesday and Sheffield United both got over 90 points. And I'd just moved from Sheffield Wednesday at the time. I'd had a tough time there. And we virtually won the league in that week where Johnny Jackson scored 2 belting free kicks. You won't remember it, but some people on the pod will, where he scored against Sheffield United or scored against Sheffield Wednesday from back to back. And it was incredible, really, because I dropped down a league from being at Leicester into the Championship and to playing. I think I played nearly every single game that year, and the feeling with your friends and that, coming to watch the last few games, and you're lifting the trophy. We won the league at Carlisle away, and they put a plane on us for our private plane to come back to London, and it was an amazing few weeks.
Yeah, and then my second question is, this is kind of about your club now, but how do you feel to still be playing league football as one of the older players in the leagues?
Yeah, I think there was a stat where I'm the oldest captain in the EFL now. So I'm pretty used to it now. I've been old for a long time, so I'm pretty used to it. I really enjoy playing. It's the best thing you can do. Obviously, I got injured at the weekend, but it's so much fun. I still speak to a lot of friends that are saying if you feel fit enough and strong enough, keep playing. You're a long time retired, so I really enjoy it. And it's a good way to help players as well. I'm doing my coaching badges and stuff like that, so it's a good way to see what the coaches are doing, because you've got a foot in that door speaking to them, but also seeing, being able to help young players. In the last 10 years, the players that I've had, train with, I trained with Jude Bellingham when I was at Birmingham. Michael Morrison, I played in that team with him at Reading. So, I've been able to see some real talent develop, and, it's nice to watch their careers blossom to how they have.
Yeah, amazing. And what I was going to say, Morrow, have you got any advice for Sid, like as a player sort of coming up? What advice would you give to her?
Well, it used to be when you're a centre-back, all you had to do was head and kick it. But it's changed a little bit now. You've got to be able to take the ball from the goalkeeper and make good decisions. But one thing hasn't changed. You've got to stop it from going in your goal. That's the most important thing. So just remember, when you're a centre-half, make sure you stop it from going in the goal and put your body on the line.
Thank you.
There you go. I've got a question in the chat for you. So this is from Kimmy, and it says, out of all your clubs, who was your favourite defensive partner?
Oh, it is a tough one. I've had a few. I really like playing with Leon Clark when I was here. Leon Clark was someone that was brilliant to play with, and Matty Taylor as well. Just before that, I'd say Leon, though, he could head the ball so far, he could head it further than he could kick. He was massive, so he was somebody that really helped when you're in that defensive line. So I'd probably say one of them two. And then later on in my career, I played with Paul Robinson at Birmingham City, and he was a great captain, and he was a great talker, and he was really aggressive, and he got everybody going in the changing room. So it's probably one of them three I'd go for.
Brilliant. And Tyler, I'm sure you'll have a great question for Morrow.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the 2011-12 season like it was yesterday, to be honest. I mean, I was very young at the time, but I think that was the first season when my dad proper got me into Charlton. And again, apologies if this makes you feel old, but you were one of the first players that stood out to me as like one of the proper first Charlton players. I think we played Brentford at home, and I remember you scoring a header. I remember being right in the I think it was the East Stand at the time, literally right there seeing it, and that was you establishing yourself as a Hall of Famer in my books. But yeah, just wanted to. I mean, obviously, you had a phenomenal season from a personal level that year. I think you made the PFA Team of the Year. I think it was you, Ben Hamer, Royce Wiggins, and Jacko. I think they made the Team of the Year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But obviously, I mean, that team was phenomenal. 101 points, lost 5 games all season. But I wondered, was there a player from that team that perhaps didn't get the mentions or the plaudits that you felt they deserved?
I think it's really difficult. That team had so many good players in. When you look back at it and you go, well, no wonder they won the league. When you think about some of the lads that went on to play in the Premier League and stuff like that. So the recruitment that was done was amazing. I think somebody who did well in that team that kind of made that team gel, and nobody was really expecting to play as big a part that year, was probably Scott Wagstaff, who'd come through the academy. We'd signed Danny Green, who was one of the more expensive signings that they'd made, and had really high hopes for them. And Scott did tremendous that season to keep him out of the team a lot of the time, and popped up with a lot of goals, and was probably one of them, because he's one of your own, you take him for granted a little bit sometimes. And probably not the most prettiest player, but his work rate and the goals that he nicked in that season, I'd probably say he was one of the unsung heroes in that team.
Brilliant. I've got another question from the chat for you, Michael. So it's from Zara, and she wants to know, what is your favourite goal that you've scored?
For Charlton, I actually scored outside the area. It's the only time I've ever done it. It was a long throw, and it bounced out. I don't know why I went in the box. It bounced out, and I chested it down, and it was like on a half volley, and went into the top corner. Goalie didn't save it. And I think that game it was against Stevenage. I think we beat them 3-1 or 4-1, and Bradley Wright Phillips ended up getting man of the match. And I was a bit put out. I was like, I've just scored a goal from outside the area. I thought I might have got man of the match for that one. But they obviously wanted to meet Brad, didn't they? So that's why he must have got the vote.
Yeah, some player as well, some player. Tom, I'll come to you next. I know you'll probably have your regular questions for Morrow.
Well, I've got 2 questions. I mean, the first one is, if you could pick a five-a-side team out of the players that you've played with, who would you pick?
So in goal, I played at Reading. I played with a guy called Rafael Cabrera. He played for the Brazilian national team with Neymar. So I'd probably go for him in goal. That's Michael Elise would be in my midfield. I played with him at Reading. He's obviously playing at Bayern Munich now. I played with Damari Gray at Birmingham City. He's just gone back. He won the Premier League with Leicester. I played with Andy King, who was at Leicester, and he's the only one that he won League One, the Championship, and the Premier League with one club. Absolute Leicester legend. So what's that put me on? What do I need now? And then I suppose I'm on a Charlton podcast, so I've got to say Jacko. I still speak to him a lot, so I've got to put John in there. He wouldn't live it down if I didn't mention Johnny.
Yeah, and you know that Tom's going to watch this, and he'll probably message him and go, "Morrow didn't put you in his
Oh yeah,
team."
definitely. If he can stir up some trouble, he will do.
Yeah. What was your other question, Tom?
The last one was, what's the best attacking player that you've come up against in your career?
Oh, we played in the FA Cup for Portsmouth a couple of years ago against Harry Kane, and he really did make the difference. Without a doubt, one of the best players that's played for England, and the amount of goals that he scored, but the quality, and no matter how tight you got to him, he'd find a half a yard and he'd keep the ball all the time. And we ended up losing 1-0, but it could have been more. And he was unbelievable on that day. I feel like he was, you could see the talent that he had.
Yeah, I've got another question in the chat for you. So Marcus said, sorry to keep on with the age thing. I actually think you look great, by the way. I think you look.
Thank you.
I said to you in your message, when I was messaging you, that I think you look better than when you did when you played for us.
Well, I had no hair then, didn't I? Sometimes
yeah,
people
you did.
say me, they go, "No, he's got no hair. What's going on there?" So
yeah, you looked hard, didn't it? But he said, yeah, sorry to keep on with the age thing, but how have you had to adapt your game as you've got older, especially with how football has evolved in the last 10 years?
Well, I weren't the fastest, so that was one thing. So you're always giving yourself a yard like that. And then obviously you drop down the level, so it's not as quick. So that's helped. Not playing in the Championship as like I was over most of my season, over most of my career. So that kind of helps as well. It's just giving yourself that extra yard, and you start to notice little things, little triggers when people are going to put it into the box or when people are going to do certain things. That experience really helps. I think the biggest change over the last probably 6 or 7 years has been the rule change with receiving the ball from inside your own box from goal kicks. So a lot of you are now more of a no-nonsense centre-half, so you have to get on board with that, see if you can find the right passes, and there's a little bit more pressure to that, and you're sort of learning as you go, because I wasn't brought up like that, like you do now in these academies. They're all, balls on the floor all the time and stuff like that. So that's probably the biggest change throughout my career, how goal kicks have adapted, where it's not so much where everyone goes up to one side of the pitch and kicks it. It's more, can you play from the goalkeeper? Can you restart it really quickly?
Yeah, brilliant. Steve, I'll come to you next. I'm sure you've got a great question.
Yeah, great to meet you, Michael, and thanks for your service, mate.
Thanks.
I just wanted to find out, obviously you played for some big clubs before you joined Charlton. What were your thoughts initially on joining us as a club, as the opportunity, as a fan base? Was it everything that you expected, more or less? Or
So I was really excited. I'd left Leicester, had a difficult time at Leicester, and signed for Sheffield Wednesday. And literally signed for Sheffield Wednesday not too long before Chris Powell got the job at Charlton. And we laughed and joked and said, if you hadn't have gone to Sheffield Wednesday, you could have come with Charlton with me. And then fast forward 3 or 4 months, and I've ended up at Charlton. And having Chris there, like I said, I played with him when I was at Leicester. I knew he trusted me, so it was a massive opportunity. I knew the club a little bit from, obviously, when I was a kid, they were in the Premier League, so I knew that about it. And I didn't really need selling. It was down south, which was, a lot, felt more homely for me as well. So this was sort of bubbling on before I got to Charlton. It was bubbling on over the summer for quite a long time, to be honest. A good 2.5 months. I ended up moving in the middle of July. I was hoping to get there a bit earlier. So I was really excited. I was desperate to come at the time. I knew the opportunity. I knew what Chris was doing and the team that he was trying to build. And, I thought it was going to go one way, and it did. It was, it was a great period of my life, really. I really, really enjoyed it. I think my only regret is that, the ownership bit, we didn't get the owner that we needed, because that second season after getting promoted, I think if we'd have put some money into the budget and recruited with a little bit of a higher caliber player, which we were all hoping for, I think the club could have pushed on at that point. But yeah, I think it was everything that I expected. I expected us to go and win League One, because I knew the type of players that we were bringing in and the quality that Chris and his staff had. So, I loved that year as much as all you guys.
Yeah, I've got another question from Sam in the chat, and this will be an interesting one. In case, I know you still talk to a few of your ex-players, but Sam's question is: best roommate and worst roommate.
I roomed with Andy Hughes actually, and I was only on the phone to him the other day. He's over at Leicester now. He's just got he's just set piece coach for Scotland as well now. So Hughesy was my roomie at Charlton, and he used to get up so early in the morning. I don't know how I ended up being in the room with him, because he used to get up so early in the morning and go to bed so early at night. I'm more of I like getting up late and going to bed late. So I don't know how I ended up with him, but he was a good roomie, because he'd come back, he'd go down for breakfast, he'd bring me croissants, some yogurts and that. So I never had to get up in the morning. So he was quite good for that, to be fair. So I roomed Husey a lot. And then obviously we had the Carscall as well, like Jacko and Laurie Wilson. So I still speak to them. We went down and watched one of Johnny's games back end of last season as well at Wimbledon at home, and they won. So that was good. So yeah, I actually enjoyed Hughes. I don't know how we ended up together, but he's good fun, good guy.
And who was the worst, Michael?
So you know what? I haven't really had any bad roomies. This is showing my age. A lot of you won't remember him. Can you remember Leo Fortune West, big striker, played for Cardiff a lot? I was 17, 18, and he was probably my age then when I was at Cambridge, and he ended up rooming with me, and I don't think he was too happy about that. He was about 38 and I was 17, 18, so I wouldn't have put us two together. So I'd probably, not that he was a bad guy, but I probably would say that was a bit, we didn't have too much in common.
And one more question I've got from Ailey in the chat. What's your favourite stadium to play at, or what has been your favourite stadium?
I think the obvious one, I played at Tottenham's new stadium. That's amazing, like brilliant. But I think going through my career, the one that I like playing most is probably Fulham away. I think wherever I've been, it's always one where the away fans always take over the stadium, that back end, and it's always really loud. Everybody makes a good day out of it, whether I've been at Charlton or Birmingham or Reading. Everyone always seems to bring like a mad away following to Fulham. I think it's just a good day out. So I'd probably say that's one of my favourite ones at Fulham.
Yeah, and the home fans are dreadful there.
I think that's why it gets taken over, doesn't it? The away fans go there and you feel like you're more at home, but you know what the away fans are like, they're proper kicking off, and it gets a bit loud and stuff. So I think that's always...
Yeah, I mean, we obviously were at Bristol City at the weekend, and the home support there was atrocious. Like, you couldn't hear them at all, and yeah, we just took over, so which was great. Paul, I'll come to you finally.
Yeah, last and definitely least, actually. Michael, it's great to have you on, obviously a bona fide multiple champion. I nearly got the violins out when you started talking about your age, because put it in context, I first went to the Abbey before you were born, but let's leave it there. I mean, you and Steve actually both touched on it. You talked about playing with your dad and your brothers, and Steve was talking about the clubs you played for, but it's an incredible story. A lad from, with respect, relatively rural, relatively sleepy West Suffolk goes on to have a 20-plus and counting year career with some of England's biggest clubs and Pompey. Sorry, Pompey. Sorry, joking, but we'll have the 6 points anyways. But how was it? I mean, you talked about obviously Peterborough Academy shutting down. You went to Cambridge, and they always talk about the transition from sort of youth football to the men's game. And I think Cambridge were in the what is now the National League when you started for them. How was that as a young lad? You said you were 17, I think. Against sort of men. I mean, how did you find the transition? Was it a sort of school of hard knocks to start with, or did you adapt like a duck to water?
I think to give you some context of the level at the time, I mean, we used to train down at the park round the corner, and one day dogs come and weed on all the drinks bottles while we were training. So, the professionalism at that time, when I moved from there to Leicester was amazing. The difference was amazing. But I was lucky I had some 2 or 3 really, really experienced professionals there, centre halves that really looked after me. I mean, people that, yourselves won't know someone like Mark Peters, Andy Duncan, Wayne Hatswell. They were Mark Albrighton, really experienced professionals. And yeah, listen, they gave me a tough time. It was back in the day where you'd be sent up for a long wait up to the gym and have to wait there for ages before you could come back and stuff like that. But deep down, they looked after me, and I really enjoyed it. I had to wait a little bit of time because you do as a young player, but as soon as I got that opportunity, I really enjoyed it and I excelled. We played in a back three, which helped me as well because you had a bit more cover, and I think it was just one of them where throughout my career I've been able to find people that can help me, whether that's because people have took a liking to me because I try and give everything I've got every day, and I think that's really important. And whenever I speak to young lads, and I see young lads at Charlton now out on loan to National League and Conference South, I think that's really, really important that you get that grounding, that you get to showcase yourself and develop while you're playing against men, rather than sometimes you can get caught in that under 23s football.
I think they call that character building, actually, don't they, Michael? The other thing I was going to ask, obviously you went to Blues for a number of years, and the Birmingham that you joined about 10 or so years ago, rather different to the animal it is now. I think it was kind of in the Carson Young era. You mentioned Paul Robinson, and there were obviously some great characters there. But how was the club? Was it in sort of the chaos that ensued? Was there signs of that, or did you not really notice that as players and you shut that out?
I've seen some bad ownership in my time. I obviously had the stuff with Charlton, with you guys, with Roland, and then I moved to Birmingham and we had 9 points deducted, and then I moved to Reading and had 9 points deducted as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's been. I don't know if it's me. Yeah, I don't know whether it's me or not. But yeah, it was really difficult at Birmingham because there was decisions that got made that you think you're doing well on the pitch, and Gary Rowett being sacked would probably be one of the biggest examples, and points being deducted from us as well. So it was really, really difficult. And as players, you can't, we're like fans as well. What's going on today? What's going on here? And everybody's gossiping in the physio room, and you are trying to focus on what's happening, but it is difficult. And I've faced that a couple of times. And at Birmingham, I was captain, so you're that link between what's going on upstairs with the coaching staff and the ownership, and then trying to report back that to the players, but also trying to bear in mind that there's a game at the weekend and you've got to win that. What we were fortunate at Birmingham, we had some really good characters. Lucas Djukovic, Jackson McGowan was a good player. We had some good talent in the group. So that really, really helped. And, when you've got talent on the pitch, you can sort of get by for a few years. Eventually, obviously, they got relegated, but I'm still up in the Birmingham area, and what they're doing at the football club, the new owners, they're investing so much money, not just in the team, but in the infrastructure around the football club, in the academy, in the city, and it's really exciting. And Birmingham's got a buzz about it.
Yeah, just before I finish, Emma, just to touch on, actually, obviously you're close to Chris Powell, as you said, Michael. I don't know if you've seen his interview. He may even have spoken to you personally. That the interview about his previous club, shall we say? And the complete disconnect between the owner and everything. I think the owner was answerable to no one, and again, that's more sort of chaos. So at least you can count your lucky stars you weren't involved in that. But
that weren't on my watch. I might have been there before, but that one weren't on my watch. And I mean, you see it happen a lot at football clubs. You only got to look at Reading over the last few years as well. With that, these guys come in and they put their money into the football club, and and then once they've decided that it's not worth it anymore, they pull out, and that's when it makes it really difficult. But I think that ownership stuff's really, really hard. I think for it to be policed is really hard by the EFL and the Premier League, because when these guys first come in, you think everybody's excited, they've got the money, they put it on the table, and then they decide that, right, actually, it's harder than it looks to run these football clubs and do it properly. So some people have got it right, and you can see that, but there seems like a big mess at Sheffield Wednesday that needs tidying up, and obviously Chris would have seen that firsthand and experienced that in a different way himself.
Great. Thanks, Mike. That's really, really informative. Thank you.
I just got a couple more questions for you, Michael. What, obviously, when we played at Cambridge last season, what did you think of the Charlton fans' reception to you? You always get your name sung, and I've noticed many a time, you're still loved and so respected by this fan base, and as a player as well, as an ex-player, it's so special to me to see you you always come and clap clap us at the end of the game, you know, when we've played you against your other clubs. And so will Charlton and the fans always hold such a special place in your heart?
100%. I mean, you guys must be sick and tired of going up to Cambridge by now. We had pre-season, got you in the cup in a couple of weeks. So you've seen me enough times, and I always appreciate that. And whenever I speak to Charlton fans, I always say how brilliant that time was, and it was special. And, you know, it is a special thing that I'll go, you know, for forever, that I'll always hold with me. So certainly whenever everybody talks about Charlton, it's a special club to me, and it's something that I hold dearly, and I really enjoyed that time. And I always check on the results. Even 10, 15 years later, you see how they're doing. You know, I was especially pleased for Harvey Nibbs to score the other day. I played with him at Cambridge, and he should be playing in Championship, no doubt, and he'll be a real talent. So it was brilliant to see him score the other day. And, you know, when John was the caretaker manager, you'll watch a little bit more then, and because you're hoping that he might get the job permanently. You know, obviously that wasn't to be, but, you know, I'm still definitely a Charlton fan.
Yeah, I'm following on from that. Obviously, I'm wondering how much sort of you've seen of like our transfer activity and stuff kind of we've done this year. But what do you think our prospects are for this season?
So I really like Lee Byrne. I think he's a real talent. I think Kelman will help with him as well. And, you know, he obviously scored loads of goals last year at League One. So you'd have thought he'd step up to make the step up into the Championship. Played with Lloyd Jones at Cambridge, no doubt, Championship player. Really experienced manager in that league that's going to have the team really organised, and that's half the battle. Everybody knows their job and knows with Jonesy that the intensity needs to be right and has to be out there. They've, you know, Sonny Carey's a good player at League One, and making that step up into the Championship with everyone. So I think it's an exciting time. I think a mid-table finish would be really, really respectable, and what you want to build from. I don't see an Ipswich happening or a Sunderland, but I certainly feel like Charlton won't be looking over their shoulders for sure. I think a solid mid-table finish looks on the cards, and it's been a good start so far. And like I say, that defensive and organisation is key, and you've got that.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say we've got some incredible defenders, actually. Very reminiscent of probably back in 11-12 when we had a really solid defence. I've got another question from the chat for you from Sam. It's a bit of a funny one. Sam says, do you want to collide with Mika and Bick again after the pre-season game?
I thought you was going to say Edwards. I don't know if you guys can remember the game at the end of the season against Charlton. I bounced off one of the young lads at the back. They seem to get bigger every year. Charlton just seemed to get these young lads. I don't know where they get them from, and they're all massive. Whenever you see them, you're like, "Oh, I'm going to be running in the channel and getting an elbow in the face." So yeah, it was a bit feisty, to be fair, in that pre-season game, and I did take one to the face. I was expecting one of them ones where they go, "Better sub him off before anything else happens." But good on him, you know. They're trying to prove their point. They're trying to get in the team, and I don't mind that when it's on the football pitch. It's all right, and it's off the pitch when you can have a laugh and a joke about it. But on the pitch, you want to see them young lads fighting for their place, and I'm still doing it as well. So it's good fun.
Yeah. Have you guys got any more questions you'd like to ask?
I'm all done.
I was just going to ask, Michael. I mean, obviously, you know, you are a veteran, I suppose, but you know, you still seem to be like a sort of young spring lamb in some ways. How long do you? I mean, they say you're a long time retired, don't they? So I presume you want to play as long as you physically can. Have you got any sort of timeline in mind, or is it just take every year as it comes?
I think people have asked me that, and you're always like, oh, you know, hopefully this year, hopefully that year. And I think it just depends towards the end of the season, how many games I've played, what next year might look like, what other jobs come up that you might get offered. You know, I remember Jason Yule stopped playing and ended up being the 21s manager at Charlton rather than taking another year somewhere else. So, you know, ultimately it won't be my decision. It'll be Cambridge's decision whether, you know, they keep me on or not, if I've played enough games, and whether they feel I can still contribute on the pitch. But I love playing. I've got no plans to retire next year. I'm hoping that I play 40 games and we get promoted, and, you know, I can lift the trophy at Cambridge in front of all my friends and family. But you know what football's like; it has other plans. So it's just waiting to see what happens. Probably end up making the decision close to the time next year, at the end of this season. But, you know, I'll enjoy every moment of it while I can.
In 4 to 5, 6 years' time, Michael, do you see yourself potentially going into management or coaching or media or?
Yeah, it's definitely something I want to do. I'm doing pro license at the moment, so I was away over the summer doing one of the study visits over at the Euros. The England under-21s won that again, back to back now. So I was over watching that, and I definitely want to go down that coaching route and stay on the grass and help people. But ultimately, it's not, you don't get to decide that, do you? When you think about Wayne Rooney doing Plymouth and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was doing Burton, there's so much competition for them jobs. It's just about doing your work. I've done these courses. I've done a master's in sport and directorship at Manchester University. So I have been prepping to be ready when I finish playing. And like I say, pro license is the top qualification you can get. So I have been trying to do the educational part of it and get out on the grass and coach. So it's definitely something that I'd like to be doing in the next 4 or 5 years. Yeah.
Brilliant. I've got one final question from the chat, because I'm going to let you go because I know you've got young children, so it's probably near their bedtime. Jake has just asked, how did Sparrows Lane compare to other training grounds?
Oh, well, I wasn't one of the ones that got walked over at Sparrows Lane. When I first signed, there was a few of us that signed at the time, and they used to walk you down to the AstroTurf and show you that we're going to build this big double-storey building training ground, and that never ever happened in the end. So Sparrows Lane always was a bit older, and then I was fortunate when I was at Reading, they did this training ground. They spent I don't know how much millions on it, and it was amazing. So Sparrows Lane isn't one that's down there for the best, but I definitely had some of the most fun of my career there.
Brilliant. Michael, it has been an absolute honour to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for your time tonight and for giving us such incredible stories and knowledge. Will you be there on Tuesday for the Cup? It is next Tuesday, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm seeing. I actually bruised my lung at the weekend, so I'm out of action at the moment. So I'm seeing a specialist tomorrow. So I'm not sure what my plan is at the moment, because I'm at high risk of infection. So I don't know whether I'll be at the game Tuesday. But fingers crossed, got a specialist appointment tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed, mate, for you. Hope you feel
Cheers.
a bit better soon. And we might see you on Tuesday. Take care, mate, and all the
Nice
best.
one. Take care.
Thanks again for your
All the
time.
best. Thanks,
Michael.
Appreciate it, guys. Love talking about it. Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you.
What a guy.
What a legend.
I hope everyone really enjoyed that, and I'm planning. See, Emma's got good contacts. I'm planning on trying to get a few ex-players on. It's really informative, I think, especially for the younger fans, that we get some of these ex-players on. And, for the likes of me, Paul, Steve, Tom and Tyler, to have someone on like that is just, it's an incredible honour for us. And an incredible honour for me as your host to be able to get that quality of guest on as well. So keep watching us, because there's going to be plenty more where that come from. I've got other guests already lined up, so keep watching us. Right, Tom, I've done you for your lineup changes. So, Stephen Sid, I'll come to you. Who would you like to see start on Saturday for the big game?
I think, personally, from the weekend where we just had Bristol City, I don't know if Greg Doherty's doing it for me at this point, because, and I'm sure that a lot of people are on the same opinion, but as a captain, you've got to be able to shine in your squad. And at this point, I think people are just overshining him by a mile. So I think I would rather put Rankin Costello in for him, or Harvey Nibbs, and then see how Nibbs or Costello can do instead of him.
Okay, I think I'm probably in agreement with you on that. I'm not sure about Rankin Costello. He's not one who's really setting the world alight for me. I haven't really seen enough of him, and I don't really know what he's about. That's not literally a criticism of him, but it might be someone that I've just not seen enough of to make a judgment call on yet. I'm a massive Karoy fan. I am wearing his shirt. I've got Anderson 18 on the back of this. So I'd obviously like to see my boy start. Shay has put in the chat that agrees with you, saying for a while, I don't think Doherty is currently doing it. And I think it is something that we have said a few times in recent weeks on this pod as well. Steve, what about you? What's your thoughts for Saturday?
I think it's a bit of a touchy one. This one is a tough one. I think you could quite easily talk about potentially players coming in that have done well off the bench. But then again, we've had 2 good results. We've had 2 pretty good performances, and things have worked pretty well. I think there's a case for Leeburn to come in. I think there's a case for Tanto to come in. I think there's a case for Harvey to come in. But yeah, I think it may be one that Jones leaves alone. Just to see how things go again. It's going to be a test again on Saturday because obviously they're a team that have come out of the Premier League and they're going to be a good test for us. There's definitely a solidity there at the moment, and even though some of the players that we've spoken about potentially are not at their best, they've contributed to a team game rather than shine individually, which is a tough one to disrupt. But yeah, I'm glad we got Nathan to make these decisions and not us. But yeah, I think there's a case for and against.
Yeah. Tyler, what about you? What are you thinking? I mean, Stuart's put in the chat that Nathan isn't one to make changes to an unbeaten team.
Yeah.
But I think for me, Leicester are coming to us, and Leicester are a different animal from what we've played. And have we got a strong enough lineup there to maybe compete with a team that has just been relegated from the Premier League?
I mean, it's a tough one. I mean, yeah, Jones doesn't like, as you said there, Jones doesn't like making changes when it's not fixed, don't broke. I've messed that up completely. What am I on about? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Do you know what I mean? It's just
what you meant.
You know what I meant. I'm all over the place. Anyway, I know Leicester are going to be a tough opposition. As I say, different animal coming down from the Premier League. They've got some insane players in that team. Then again, I do think it is the right time to play them because I think it is quite a disjointed team. A lot of those players probably shouldn't or won't be there coming into the transfer window. So I think it's the right time to play them in that essence. Obviously, I don't think you change the goalkeeper or the defence. I think you keep that as it is. 2 clean sheets. You don't change that and disrupt that. Doherty's probably most at threat to be taken out, but then again, does Jones drop his captain 2 games into the season? I know we've got some leaders in that team. You could give the armband to Jones or even Amari Bell, but I don't see him being dropped. And maybe I'm not looking at him properly or analysing him too much, but I don't think Doc has been that bad or as bad as some people make him out to be. If he was to be dropped, I wouldn't be against it because we've still got some good players in that team. I think Rankin Costello will come good for us. I think he will be one of our better signings, to be honest. I've seen him play at Blackburn and he was very impressive. So I think there's a player there for sure, but he's obviously not showing it yet. Karoy, I think he's more effective off the bench. Whether he can start against Leicester, is that too much pressure on him? So I would probably keep Greg. I mean, you could put Harvey in, but then again, you're playing 2 10s because you're not taking Carey out of the team, are you? So is 2 10s going to be 2 attacking? And then you got the front 2. You got TC, who was a lot better against Bristol City, and then you got Charlie Kelman, who is yet to really touch the ball in the opening 2 games. But I'm obviously sure that he'll come good. And obviously Leeburn and Tanto have looked very good off the bench. Do you bring them in? So it's a difficult one. I don't think Jones won't disrupt that team too much. I don't think. I think he'll make probably 1 change, maybe 2 at a maximum. But to be honest, from the way I see it, I don't really see the point in changing it because what we're doing at the moment is working. We're in games, we're competitive. Leicester obviously a different animal, but they got a new manager and a lot of that team is disjointed and might not be there coming into the window. So it's the right time to play them.
Yeah, I know. I completely agree. I think for me, though, what I'd maybe like to see is if we do start with the same 11, which I can probably foresee, to be honest, because, I know what some people are saying there, with Jones, he doesn't like to change too much, but I'd like to see the substitutions come a little bit earlier because I feel like sometimes I don't get enough time to impact the game. And I think that's my frustration at times. So, Paul, are there any changes that you would make going into Saturday's big game?
No, I mean, I think Tyler touched it on there. He talked about disruption or being disruptive. It would be a massive call for Jones to drop Doc and or Charlie Kelman. I mean, I think Tyler made a valid point. I mean, Doc's not been horrendous. It's just that others' levels have risen as they've adapted to Championship football. He's sort of being a bit left behind. But, the team is as good as the sum of its parts. And the team, you don't want to change a team that nearly beat a very good Bristol City team. Leicester, I mean, they were lucky to get past a very much weakened Wednesday team. They lost to, obviously, a Thierry Small-inspired Preston. I couldn't believe that cross for the winning goal. But so they're not firing all cylinders. And as someone said, it's a good time to play them. So all the more reason not to disrupt. But I think the compromise would be, as you said, Emma, look to bring the the bench into play a lot earlier than we should. But yeah, I think Charlie's still not fully fit. He's only going to get fitter if he plays games. He's still, if he wasn't working hard, if he was shirking, if he wasn't pressing, if he was dossing about, then clearly, you would say let's take him off. But he's working very hard. There's obviously pressure on the guy. You can't tell me that a big fee doesn't bring pressure. He might say in interviews, "Oh yeah, no worries." And look, he's just deleted his social media, so people are obviously getting on his back. The knuckle scrapers are us brigade, and that can't be easy for him. So it's just, I think we carry on with the winning and the sort of the very good draw, moral victory Bristol City team, and then see where we go. But yeah, I like Croy a lot. I know we're sort of divided a bit on this podcast as to Croy's merits. I do think he's probably better off the bench. I don't think he's probably in the equation quite yet, certainly not the start. But yeah, let's see where we go. I think I'm really confident. I'm quite confident about Saturday. This is not Leicester Premier League version. This is actually, just to mention, Jeremy Monga went to my old school. He's 16, and I left school in '82. But let's not dwell on that. But it's great to see him. It's great to see him getting a start for the old school. But yeah, I'd be more than happy for him to be on, taking a spanking on the losing side. No sentiment in that. I'm quite confident that we'll talk about score predictions in a bit, but I think we'll win a relative canter, I think, to be honest.
Yeah, we got in the chat here, and I think I've broached this subject on previous weeks. So Kelman will take time to start off like Godden and May did. I won't worry yet. He also didn't have a pre-season compared to us. Exactly. I think that is something that I have said before. Like May and Godden both took their time to get going as well. So, but like I think you've said there, Paul, with the big price tag that comes with him, he is going to have pressure on him, and that is the thing. If he doesn't start scoring soon, then I think there's going to be more and more pressure on him. It's going to be like he's got something on his back to just shift off. So for me personally, I would love, you guys know I love him. I've spoken about him. Tanto is my GOAT this season. I am adopting Tanto as my favourite for this season. So I'm desperate to see more Tanto time. We need to get a song for Tanto. So if anyone's in the chat, if you want to make one up and send it to me, then you can. But we need a Tanto song. Please don't make it like the Harvey Nibbs one, because I can't get that out of my head. But definitely would like to see more of Tanto. I think he looks our most dangerous striker at the moment. The him and Leeburn combination looks deadly. So that is what I'd like to see more of. So
I just got me tango. I don't know if it's like a tango themed song we can co-opt for a Tanto. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm trying to think if there was. I'll have a look on YouTube to see if there's any sort of.
You've been Tanto.
Yeah, you've been Tanto. Yeah. As long as I ain't got to go around slapping people. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's a few people who need a slap around the face. I don't know, but I might get Mick Everett trying to get me kicked out the ground. So I won't do that. But he's a friend of the pod, so he wouldn't do that anyway. So we'll go to score predictions. So I will go to Sid first. Your score prediction and goal scorers for Saturday. And pop your score predictions in the chat, guys, as well, and I'll read them out.
I'm going to be positive and go for a 2-1 win. And I think our goal scorers are going to be maybe a header from Lloyd. And then that'll be like a first half. And then maybe in like a late winner or like a late just second goal. I think I'll go for Tyrese.
Yeah, I like that. That's going to make Tom happy. Look, he's smiling. Steve, I'll come to you next.
I share the same optimism as Paul in this game on Saturday. I've watched both Leicester's games, and as I say, in regards to their Championship promotion winning team and obviously the Premier League team, I don't think they're the same team. I think we've got the momentum with us as well. Maybe a 2-0.
2-0, and your goal scorers?
I think, I'm going to go with Charlie opening his account.
Yep.
And then maybe a goal from one of the subs, maybe a goal from Tanto coming on in the second half.
Yeah, lovely. Tyler?
It's kind of the same feeling with the Bristol City game. I'd take a point happily against that team because there is Premier League quality in that team. But as I said, it's the right time to play them. You know, Marty Cifuentes is a good manager, but he's got players there that, as I said, probably will be off in the next few days. So it is the right time to play, and we're playing well, home crowd. I'll back the 2-1 with Sid. I'm being optimistic. I'm going to go 2-1. Scorers, I'll go Sonny Carey. I think he's going to open his account, and then I'll go Lee Burn off the bench.
I like that. Paul?
I'm backing Sid's dad. I'm going with Steve. 2-0. Charlie to give a big fat middle finger to his detractors on his account. And then, probably off the bench, the Tango Man.
I do hope he's watching because this is just, I know some of the players do watch. So, the Tango Man, dear God.
But he's opening that post stick.
Yeah. Well, Tracy's put in the chat that let me find it. The song, oh God. Tanto's on fire, your defence is terrified.
Could do.
But that's a bit boring, isn't it?
It is.
Right.
It probably would work.
Yeah.
It would be. Yeah.
I'll get it going. We'll get it going. A block and B block mixed, and on Saturday we'll see how we go.
Are you sure you don't mind B Block joining in with you, Emma? Can you lower yourself?
You normally just sit there quiet, Paul. So I'll see if I can get. I'll see if I can get you singing. Me and Tom will start you up. Tom, I'll come to you. What's your thoughts?
I'm debating between a 2-2 or a 2-1. To be fair, I think Leicester will probably be our biggest test so far. Obviously, I'll go for a 2-2. I'll happily take a point off of them for sure. Goal scorers, Mavadidi will score for them because he's just unbelievable. I think Kelman will score, finally get off the mark. And Harvey Nibbs will score in the 94th minute again. 2-2. It erupts in the covered end.
Harvey Nibbs.
Yeah,
I
like it.
Harvey Nibbs. I like it. Right, I'm gonna be the loser here. I'm going for a 1-1.
You think you would take it though?
I've turned into Josh, so I'm like negative Nelly. I'm backing Tyler's choice. I've been feeling Sonny Carey to score for a little while. So I'm going with a Sonny Carey. I'd like a 2-1, but I think it's going to be defence versus attack if I'm honest. So I think it's going to be a very one-sided game with us not really wanting to cave in. But we shall see. I'm hoping that maybe the game changers or the finishers, as we call them, will make a difference in this game if they can come on early enough. So we will read through some of them in the chat. Ely has gone for a 4-0. He's very hopeful. So we've gone for a Harvey Nibbs brace. I like it. Kane Ramsey and Tanto. Mark has gone for a 2-0 Charlton, Kelman with both, and a middle finger at his haters, Paul?
Yeah.
Glenn Foy has gone for a 1-0 Leeburn. Jack has gone for a 2-0 with another Kelman brace. Mark has also said this is Kelman's game. Zara has gone for a 1-1-all, but then Sonny has scored and Tanto last minute winner. I think you meant 2-1, which is fine. Jake has gone for a 2-1 with Lloyd Jones and Rob Apter to score. Alan has gone for a 1-0. Tracy has gone for a 1-0 with Harvey Nibbs. Mark has said, I've lost it. This is Kelman's game. Their centre halves run like they're on a travelator. It'd be too quick for them. Stuart said it would be a good point. I think it would be a fantastic point. And Tyler, you're really good with stats. I know we've not been beaten at home for quite some time as well, have we?
Since Crawley. I mean,
I was about to say Crawley's probably Crawley's probably the last one.
Yeah, about 9 months.
Yeah, and I think obviously it's another bumper crowd as well. So let's hope
someone sold out.
Yeah. So Charlie has said he fancies us to get a point, at least if Leicester don't have the right attitude. Kimmy has gone for a 3-1 at to Leeburn and Kelman. Tracy has said me and you, Emma. I think she means we're going to start the singing. Zara said J Block will get it going. Tanto had the Tantos on fire chant at Stockport. Chris has gone for a 2-0 Kelman and Tanto. Tom's gone for a 2-1. And Chris has said this to you, Paul.
Hey!
I can bring a bottle. I'll just hide it in my bag and we'll do shots between A and B block.
No, it's just this viscous room, right? I sing like the best of them. The problem is my voice goes really quickly halfway before half time. So that's because I'm old. Yeah, no.
Right, that is us for tonight, guys. Oh, quickly before I go, I must say huge congratulations to our very own Lloyd Jones. And I'll say our very own Charlie Kelman, although it's Leighton Orient's Charlie Kelman, for getting in the PFA Team League 1 of the year. So massive congratulations to both of you on that accolade. Thanks for watching, guys. Big thanks to Morrow for coming on. I really hope you guys enjoyed listening to him and his stories. Big thanks to Paul, to Sid, to Steve, to Tyler and to Tom. Don't forget to hit up our socials and go and follow our new TikTok as well. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Don't forget we are every Wednesday and Sunday live at 8 o'clock. Don't miss us because we are amazing and my team are the best in the business. I'm very, very lucky to have this lot. If you are around the ground Saturday, do come and say hi.
Yeah.
I'm going to be down there a bit later because I'm dog sitting. When I say I'm dog sitting, he's more like a dinosaur than a dog. But I'm going to be there a little bit later than normal. But Tom will be around, so go and find Tom. He will be in the fan zone and we'll be uploading interviews to the TikTok. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you soon. Take care of yourselves.
See ya.
See you, mate.
Bill.
Bye.